Welcome. In front of me I have the brand new Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 and I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device and its specifications. So, let's just jump straight into this. We do have pull tabs at the back, so let's yoink those, and wow, this actually came off in one piece. How about this one? And there we go, the Samsung bullshit. Cool, right off the bat. There we go. So, getting into the box, we have our stylus. Ooh, this one actually looks pretty nice. It literally has like a pencil look to it. I do like this. Anyway, here we get the tablet itself. And let's boot it up. I'm gonna set it to the side once it actually starts to turn on. Any moment now, there we go. And in here we also have our paperwork, along with our and that's a long cable, Type-C to Type-C cable, and that's about it. So, here's the device. Wow, we missed such a perfect battery percentage. Damn, I actually can't get past this. This is a really nice feeling pencil. It just genuinely feels like a pencil, just because of the shape and even the weight. So, I do want to give props where they're due. Now, because this is still a glassy display, it doesn't have that nice feeling of a pencil where it just kind of catches it, but you could technically apply a just kind of matte foil on here, and it would give you most likely a much accurate kind of representation of what a paper and pencil would feel like. Now, alright, we need to restart the device because it's Samsung. Cool. Anyway, so while it's rebooting, let's talk about the display right here. This is an 11-inch display with a resolution of 1600 by 2560. It's a dynamic AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus certified with a peak brightness of 1600 nits. It boasts an 83.6% screen to body ratio, a pixel density of 274 pixels per inch, covered with a Mosh Level 5 glass. And this is the display. Now, out of all of the jumbo that I just spilled out of my mouth right here, to say it basically in a plain terms, it's a decent display. It's everything that you'd expect. The only thing that kind of lacks, in my opinion, is the brightness. It's a tablet though, so it's not as important. You most likely won't be using this as often as you use your phone outside, so it shouldn't really matter that much, and 1600 nits is still plenty bright, specifically for indoor usage. That is more than ample amounts of brightness. Now, another thing here that I kind of find a little bit lacking is the screen to body ratio. You can see these bezels are freaking humongous, and if I bring up something like their S25 lineup of devices, which I have a screen protector applied to it that already makes them thicker just because it's a pretty bad screen protector, but it is matte, so that's kind of why. Let me just first turn on light mode. There we go. So here you can see these are the bezels on a phone, and these are, like I said, thicker than they actually are just because of the screen protector with this kind of like anytime there's like an edge, it has a black border to it. You can see it around the camera right here. So yeah, it makes these bezels actually thicker than they actually are. And just have a look at comparison. These are like, what, couple millimeters at best? These are freaking enormous. So for a device released in 2025, like right now, September 4th, these bezels are, for the price of this device, I would say a bit unacceptable. So that's just kind of my approach to this. When spending nearly, what, 900 euros on this? Wow. And you went with Dimensity, bold. 900 euros, these have no place, especially when you're already skimping out on implementing a Snapdragon in here and adding things like, for instance, Dolby Vision certification and some other things. So, you know, I just want to point this out because even though it's a great package, it's lacking, and there are things that Samsung just completely skimps out on to basically save on cost. that you're still paying for this, what's supposed to be here, but you're not getting it. So things like I said, Dolby Vision, it could have been well in here, no problem. It would allow you to watch Netflix with better kind of looking quality, image quality. That's one thing. The bezels could have been smaller. That is funny, the Dimensity is just a kind of bit of a yikes. So with that out of the way, nice. I can skip connecting to Wi-Fi. Thank you, Samsung. How graceful of you. Anyway, so with the display out of the way, let's move into the internals, which I did mention the processor being the Dimensity. More precisely, is the Dimensity 9400 Plus. So it is a good processor, but it's still a Dimensity, which means that it's a little bit lower end than what, for instance, Snapdragon offers. And you just actually make double sure how close it is. So 9400 plus. Probably misspelled something. Yep, I did. Let's see. There we go. Let's look at versus.com. So we're looking at. Oh boy. What is this kind of? My goodness, these websites, in terms of comparing the processors, it's freaking horrendous. Wow. Okay, so yep, it looks like. Oh, but this is. Okay, it's going to be hard to tell you this, but by the looks of it, they're. Depending on what kind of benchmarks people do, they're about the same. Sometimes Snapdragon is better, sometimes Dimensity, though it's referring to Dimensity 9400, not the Plus version of it. So, and I just cannot find the info for it. Which, for actual like comparisons between one and the other processor, mobile ones, it's kind of annoying to find reliable information. They're always just different, and it doesn't help them when you have, for instance, manufacturers like Samsung, which, for instance, S25 phone has the same processor as the Ultra, yet Ultra gets better benchmarks than the non-Ultra, and supposedly they're all overclocked to the same rate, but Ultra is the only one that gets much higher scores than the non-Ultra versions. And for instance, if you even compare it to something like the Nubia Z70 Ultra, which also has the same processor, that basically approaches Ultra and it's not overclocked. So it's just very all over the place, and it's hard to kind of define which it is. But to say it kind of in a simplest way, they appear to be very close to each other. So the Dimensity and the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Now, with that out of the way, apart from the processor, we have 8,400 mAh battery that can be charged at a whopping 45 watts. Are you feeling okay, Samsung, here? Isn't that too much wattage that you're pushing into your device? You're not afraid that it's gonna blow up? Wow. I want to point out that this is a okay charging speed. It's not like super fantastic. There are devices that charge still faster wirelessly, but considering this is their lowest end tablet, so not the Ultra version, if you compare it to something like the S25 that charges at 25 watts versus the Ultra at 45, I would have expected them to keep the same kind of bullshit logic here, but supposedly they give us actually decent charging speed here, which, quickly checking, the Ultra charges at the same speed, which, again, a bit disappointing in this case. So, pretty good battery here. Oh, pretty good. That's an understatement. Over exaggeration. Oh, that's the word that I'm looking for. It's an average battery size right here. There are phones that have bigger battery than this, but it's Samsung, so we can't expect too much from one of the leading companies in terms of manufacturing electronics. Let's not expect too much from them. Apart from, well, highest price, then we can expect that. Anyway, so moving on, we have expandable storage Are we feeling okay here, Samsung? Holy hell. We have 128 gigabytes of storage built in with 12 gigs of RAM, and you can get it up to half a terabyte also with 12 gigs of RAM. These are actually okay storages, specifically the base entry 128. It's a little bit on a lower end. I would prefer to see like 256, but the fact that we have expandable storage, it's already, I would say, makes up for it, because you can just pop in an SD card and like have an additional terabyte of storage, so that's fine. Now, if we flip it over to the back, we have our camera, and there's just a single camera at the back, and that is a 13 megapixel 2.0 aperture wide sensor that does 4K 30 and 1080p 30. And then a selfie is a 12 megapixel ultra wide 120-degree field of view, 2.4 aperture that does the same thing as the back one, 4K 30, 1080p 30. And so nothing really special here. Lastly, let's talk about the Android right here. Close this off, come on. So we are running Android 16 right here, and this actually has a little bit of a different look than the phone, even though oh, it's One UI 8. Okay, that's why it looks a little bit different. It still has the same kind of vibe as, for instance, on my device, which is running One UI, I think 7. But it has like these effects. So for instance, there's like a border before there wasn't one, so you just have these toggles floating. So this has, right, let me just quickly check on my phone. Okay, maybe it might be a little bit harder to tell, because right here, when you pull it down, you do have like this blurred background. But yeah, there's no like visible border like it is right here. So yeah, anyway, let's quickly go into about tablet, and we can see we have software information, Android 16, and One UI 8, so everything tracks. And apart from that, we should have also, what is it, like several years of upgrades right here, though on GSM Arena it's actually not stated about this, but Samsung typically does give us like several years of life cycle, I think like 5. I don't know if this is the same for tablets. I know it's for phones primarily. So yeah, now talking about the build quality of it, it's just another tablet. It's almost identical in terms of build quality to the previous S lineup, as far as I can tell. There is a SD tray right here that you can see. We have our power/volume rockers right here. The only difference here is the camera design. So this looks a little bit different than the previous generation, but still the back is very similar with the antenna array right here on the side, and glass front. What a surprise here, right? And like I said, even the bezels seem to be about as thick as they were in the previous generation. The change, I think, is that we can see right here is in the speaker grills. So these are a bit of a newer kind of look as far as I can tell. We also have our Type-C charging port. Then on the other side we have more speaker grills, our microphone in the middle right here, and then we've already been here. And then at the bottom here, we have these little punch holes are for when you're using like the folio case or whatever, keyboard, mouse, kind of trackpad thingy thing. So just kind of sockets in here and magnetically attaches to the bottom here. So that's about everything that there is. Now, like I was mentioning, it's a pretty expensive device coming at like 900 euros. That is not a cheap device. And like I was also mentioning, it does skimp out on several things, certifications to cut costs, and it really depends on if you already have Samsung devices, if you want to stay with the ecosystem and overpay for it, because truth is you are simply overpaying for this. 900 euros, there is nothing like super standing out right here, no certifications like I mentioned. The charging speed is just kind of mid. The battery life for the size of this, or the battery size for the size of the tablet itself, is average at best, because it's Samsung, so that's to be expected, but it's not what you should be expecting from a size like this of a tablet. and the battery size. Like I mentioned, phones can have nearly as much battery while being less than half the size of this. So there's no reason why Samsung can, while also packing basically the same amount of power, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 storage, 8 Elite processor. So there is no reason for this to be basically similar to a device like a phone that costs half the price of this, like literally half the price, like the Z70 Ultra. Now I know I am comparing a phone to a tablet, but I just want to kind of give a comparison. The only difference there is the size of the device, and other than that, the phone basically has everything as good, if not better, compared to Samsung offerings in general. The thing that I do want to point out though, Samsung, pretty good software. You might hate it, love it, but in general it's a pretty good made software. It has additional features that you typically don't have in stock Androids, which does add to the value of the device. Now, is it worth the 900 euro price tag? I don't know. It's probably up to you to decide. And another thing in here that we get for that 900 euros is the pencil. And I do have to say this is one of the nicer pencils that you get with the devices nowadays, just because of the traditional pencil shape. That's literally what it is. I don't know if it's nostalgia for me or not, but I do really like it. It feels nice in hand. It also has the button, as you typically accept, and yeah, that's about it. But you can get devices that are basically cheaper than this while offering everything the same, minus the software. So anyway, that basically sums it up. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.